I will show you 7 steps that you can use to start your own business. Within 8 months of starting my startup, I managed to close a pre-seed round with an investor and also win a competition and 150,000 euros for my startup from an accelerator program that had over 300 startup applications from around the world. In this video, I put together the 7 steps that we needed to use in order to achieve this astonishing result. Everybody talks about other businesses like SMMA, dropshipping, but nobody actually mentions how to really build a startup, and it's portrayed as hard and difficult to start with, but the reality is every single business requires time and can be difficult. The problem is that other YouTubers need to make you believe that SMMA, dropshipping and so on is actually easy to create, because on the other hand they can then go ahead and sell you their courses. It's time to put an end on this, and that's why I decided to create this video where I will show you a beginner-friendly framework that can help you build an actual startup that you might be able to sell for millions at some point. Let's open up a Miro board and use that to actually execute the next steps. First of all, you want to be focusing on problems and trends and create a long list of problems through brainstorming. You can go on Google and just type in brainstorming to get some tips and tricks on how to do it. From there, you research some trends also on Google and LinkedIn, and you want to be looking for companies that basically are hiring at the moment a bunch of new employees, because this often signals that the company has a product or service that is trendy at the moment, which leads them to grow faster, and in order to sustain that growth they actually need to hire new employees. Let's move on to evaluating the problems, and let's start with answering a couple of questions. How big is the market and how many people are affected by it? Question 2, is the problem insufficiently addressed? And question 3, would people pay for the solution? And if yes, how much? Question 4 is, how often does the problem have to be solved? Once a week, daily, or even once a year? Just write that down. And then question 5 is, could you and your team address it? And would you feel comfortable with doing so? Now, once you answer these questions, let's just create a board and fill in the board with all the problems that you listed. And then you want to be evaluating these. Ideally, of course, you go to people that are from that specific industry that you are talking about. In this case, every single person gets 10 points and can distribute them. Once you've done that, we will be focusing on finding the problem to focus on based on the evaluation, and then also finding pains and the gains. Pains can be actually obstacles that are blocking your consumer from getting to the gains, and this could be negative emotions, this could be risks, this could be undesired costs. And to find out what the gains are, just ask yourself, what is the result if the pain points would not exist anymore? Now that we have defined the pains and gains, as you can see here on my board, I have also a couple other stuff. And here I really suggest that you take a look at an article from a person called Anthony Wick. It's an amazing article, and he basically talks about the jobs to be done, in other words, value proposition, and then also defining your 3 types of customers, which is the paying customer, the job executor, and then also the life cycle support of your product. The job executor is basically that he's going to use your product. Then the paying customer is actually who is going to take the financial decision. And the third one is the life cycle support. And this could be, for example, suppliers, or if you have like a clothing brand, could be also the company that actually produces your clothes that you are selling. So whoever supports you in selling your product. We have successfully defined what problems you're going to solve and also who is going to benefit from the solution. And now it's time to establish a vision and a mission. So in order to come up with a mission, you can define in a concrete way what your company is basically doing, And then a vision is the ideal future that your company wants to achieve. And I'm going to show you our pitch deck that also allowed us to basically pitch in front of a jury and win the 150,000 euros. If you stick until the end, I will also share with you what our startup is actually doing. We divided this into 10 parts. So first of all, you have the problem. Then we have a market overview where I explained a bit more details about the market. Then you have a simple temp sum model. You can just basically Google, and you will also find more articles on how you can calculate this. From there, we moved on to the actual business model. We showed an example of our product. We showed our projections for the next 5 years, a timeline on how to achieve these projections. And then also we briefly touched upon the competitors and gave 1 or 2 points where we thought that we have already a value as a team and as a company inside. So this could be experience and so on. Next one would be how you would use the funds that you are asking for. I will get into that in a second. The last one would be, of course, presenting your team. So when it comes to the questions that we had to submit in order to be selected, I will just show you them on the screen, and then you can just shortly stop the video and screenshot them, because I highly suggest you take the time to answer those, as they will be giving you some help. First of all, you can use websites like Upwork. You can use your personal circle and ask around if somebody has experience or wants to join your startup. And that's why in the first place you created also a pitch deck, because you will be able to use that pitch deck to sell your vision to these people and also tell them more about your business idea and what you want to do. So the main goal is always to look for people, of course, that have more skills than you in certain areas, or that are at least complementary to your skills. To pay your team, you can always go the other way around, and you basically give them like shares from your company. Whenever you have partners that you give shares to, just make sure you just end up creating the business with them if really everyone is happy with the situation they are in. So in the 7th step, you have 2 options to select from, and this is basically first of all bootstrapping and second of all fundraising. And at some stage you will end up raising funds anyways, but it's very important to take that decision at the beginning and have a look and evaluate your business model and business idea to see what option is the best suited for you. So bootstrapping basically means using your own resources to get started with your company and business, and not having an external person or company basically investing. Build up your company, make some revenue, and then at some point look to raise funds. So the positive of that would be, obviously, if you manage to be successful, you will be able to raise funds. Let's say you raise 100k, you need to give away less shares because you have already something that you've set up, you have already some revenue that you've generated with your idea, but it can often be a little bit slower, which actually is the negative point for bootstrapping. The second option would be obviously going straight away for raising funds from an external person or company that could help you get set up much faster compared to bootstrapping. However, the negative would be you will need to give away more shares. So we have completed the 7 steps. However, it's not time to leave the video yet. For team management, you can use a software called Asana that I think is very good to do to-do lists and assign them to certain people. Then you have also here, I will just put on the screen my professional signature that I'm currently using every single day to send emails. The third one, as promised, I'm going to explain you in a very short way what our startup is doing. So basically it's a corporate accommodation platform that connects companies that are managing properties around the world with corporations like Amazon, Ferrero, and so on. So basically we have like a whole booking platform in a way like an Airbnb for corporations. And if you want to see the vlog about the competition that I was mentioning throughout the video, where we won up to 150,000 euros in equity free funding, just make sure to click here on this.